Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So it's time for those 1-minute book recs. This is the first 1-minute book recs of the new year of 2026. So this is where we talk about all the books. I know. Yeah. This is where we talk about all the books we've read within the past week with 1-minute synopsises for each book. And
shouldn't you be wearing a party hat or something?
No. That's you. You put the party hat on.
Okay. I don't have one.
I don't either. Woo! Okay. New year. New year means new reading goals, which just drive me nuts because then Goodreads resets.
Okay.
I like it when it resets.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just don't. All right. Well, let's talk about your reading week. How was we got to meet up, which was great, but how was your reading week?
Yes. My reading week was pretty good. I read, oh crap. I have 2 journals going on.
Yeah, you do.
Because I have last year's journal and then this year's journal, which is the stars, which I have got to say, I think this is my favorite journal.
I did revamp a little bit of stuff inside of it because I noticed that these ones weren't laying quite as flush as I wanted to. And I realized that one of the pages had been left out where the picture was supposed to be up in a certain corner. So I added that. So it really should lay flat and nice now. And I just kind of resized a few things. So
yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
So I have read 12
books.
Yes, but I had a trilogy, so then I would be talking about 10.
Okay, so I have 11 to talk about because one was 4 books in one, and then the other, like 4 novellas in one, and the other one was a duet.
So how many total books did you read? 15?
15.
Okay.
So, okay, but you said you got 10 to talk about?
Yes.
All right, that means I'll go first.
Yeah, you will.
Yeah, I will.
Things have been righted in the world once again.
Finally. No. Okay, so the first book that I'm going to talk about, it was a reread for me. It was actually a re-listen or a first time listening through. But I had a hankering for some Liz Hamilton, and Liz hasn't put anything out that's new since, summer. But so this is Twisted Fate and Twisted Flame. This is a dystopian for her, a dystopian romance. This is really cool. It's a different kind of concept. This is about Emery, Sebastian, and Theo. So Emery is our heroine. She is married, and in this world they have we have fated mates, and people are considered a searcher or a settler, depending on what you decide to do, because your chances of finding your fated mate, you find them by touching their skin. So people walk around with like sleeveless shirts or short sleeve shirts, so you should just touch people as you walk through the city. And if you decide that you are just going to settle down and get married, you're a settler, and you're actually kind of looked like frowned upon by everybody who wants to be a searcher because they want to find this fated mate, and you live longer and whatever when you find the fated mate. Well, Emery and Sebastian have gotten married. She's been in love with him since she was young, and they are not fated mates. They're deciding to live their life. And one day she literally runs into Theo, and when their skin touches, she realizes that is her fated mate. And at this point, her body is just drawn to him. So now she goes into a complex because she does like a scientific place where her husband works, because she doesn't want to be connected to him anymore. She wants her husband, and they're going to try to reverse it. But, it's a duet. The last book will make you cry. Just saying. It still ends in an HEA. It'll just make you cry. So.
Okay. Okay, my first book is the trilogy, and that is C.R. Jane's it's the Sound of Us trilogy. The first book is Remember Us This Way. And so this trilogy, gotta start my timer, is about Ariana. She is in a really abusive, bad relationship, and the band is coming to town, so she decides to flee to go to their concert because she knows the guys. That's Jesse, Jensen, and Tanner. And then the whole trilogy is kind of told through flashbacks of how the 3 of them know each other from high school, and then back to her, how she ended up not being around them anymore and in this abusive marriage, and how that's now going to work out. So that is that. I
Okay.
will say that I wanted to read this because it's C.R. Jane. It was Rockstar. I wasn't really paying attention to the whole why choose situation. And I don't know. I struggle with that a little bit. I rated it a 4 star because I felt like everything was pretty good. I just don't see how like three alpha guys all fall for the same girl and all have to have her and share her. It's just not necessarily the trope for me. Okay, next.
Okay. Well, next is the one we both read last week. So do you want me to explain it and then we can talk about it together?
Sure.
Okay, so that is Silent Flames by Kate C. Wells. This is one that I'd had pre-ordered and I forgot that I had it. And Mandy and I've talked about it because it snuck in there and ended up on our top list for the year for both of us. So that was interesting. But this is about Cora and Adrian. They've been married for 5 years. They have 2 little ones, a 4-year-old and an infant. And Cora goes to see her husband. So she came from nothing. She's a foster child and he is a billionaire. He's a big, businessman. And he's in the city and she goes to surprise him with the babies and the doors to the penthouse open up and lo and behold his director of finance is riding him on the couch just going at it. And so she leaves, she's shocked, she leaves, she goes to a different apartment in this building that the company owns, and he eventually comes down and he's like, look, you signed the prenup, like I needed someone to give me heirs and that was your job, and this is none of your business. And she's completely devastated. She finds out that she was 21 when she signed the prenup. There's a big age gap here, and she was young and naive and she didn't really fully understand what was in the prenup, and she didn't realize that she'd signed away quite a bit, and she had signed something that makes it almost impossible for her to actually leave him and leave the home and her kids. So then we get this hate to love situation that happens throughout the whole book. It is phenomenal, like Mandy loves to say, it is phenomenal. So it was amazing. So I gave it 5 stars. It was a favorite of the year, and
Yeah.
obviously you did too, because it was on our favorites. So
Yes.
I want more like this. I mean, just the angst that, I know a lot of people don't like cheating, but the reason why I like the cheating is it brings the angst and then the grovel. But it has to, like, he grovels, like you've got to grovel for almost the whole book. So, but there was a lot of hate there. He was a cold man. I loved it.
I saw a review where somebody didn't like it, and they actually wrote in the review that there was no grovel. And I kind of felt the opposite. I felt
Yeah.
like he groveled kind of in his own way, and it
Yeah.
took him a while to realize things, but
Yeah.
I felt like it was there.
Oh, I felt like it was there. I think, Kate said, don't read it if you don't like this trope, then this book is not going to be for you. And I think that some people didn't pay attention to that, maybe. I don't know. But
Yeah.
it doesn't sound to me like she actually read the full book. Or if she did, she wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
So sometimes you do have to read between the lines. So, okay,
Sure.
what's your next book?
So my next book
Is it
is Barbarian Lover by Ruby
Yes!
Dixon. I got this book for Christmas because I put it on my wish list. We are going to Holidays with the Bells, which is in Texas. And Ruby Dixon is going to be there. And I definitely wanted to have some books to have her sign. So Jessica walked me through which books she thought I would like. So we went with the next book in the series that I needed to read, which was book number 3. I've not made it very far. Nice Plan of Barbarians. So we have Kira, and how do you say his name?
Ahako.
Ahako?
Ihako.
Ihako?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have Kira and Ihako. Kira is okay with being alone. She hasn't found her mate, but she's okay with that because she cannot have children, and she recognizes that's kind of their main purpose here on this planet is to mate with these aliens. And Ihako could, like, he really wants her, and so he pursues her, and she is just very reluctant, I guess, because she feels like once he finds out, he is not going to want to have anything to do with her. So this was definitely like a reverse grumpy sunshine alien romance.
Yeah, he calls her sad eyes.
I rated it 4 stars.
Of course you did. Look, they're not favorites of mine for like no reason. Okay. I mean, they're my palate cleansers. So, okay. Well, speaking of palate cleansers, I've just been hankering for a really good Mafia and haven't found one lately. And so I went back and read one. I was doing a reread or re-listen to some of the Neva Altai books, and so I continued on. So this is my second favorite in the series. This is Stolen Touches. Yep, Stolen Touches. I had to look. This is Melina's story. She is the younger sister to the heroine from the second book. She is a nurse. She's practicing. She's doing her residency in New York, and that is where this other mafia Don resides. And everybody knows that you don't go to New York if you're from a different mafia or a different mafia family, because Salvatore is horrible. He'll send you back in pieces. He's very, very crazy. We do know that Salvatore went through something. He wears a glove, and that's because one of his hands is a little mangled, and he is missing a leg from the knee down. And so Melina is she's a nurse. One day he's at the hospital having a checkup. She runs past him to deliver a baby in the parking lot of the hospital, and she like yells at him to move, and then insists that he gives her his Armani jacket to wrap the baby and to swaddle the baby, and he is just immediately taken with her. He is a very cold man. He doesn't have feelings, and once he finds out that she is from a rival family, he basically forces a marriage on her. So, because she intrigues him. So it still held up. I still loved it. It was still 5 stars for me.
Interesting.
The first time I read it, and this time I listened to it. So I'm glad it held up, even with the audio. Because sometimes, like we talk about, when I read it, I tend to give it higher ratings than listening. Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, okay.
Okay, so I needed a change of pace, and I was also desperate to complete my 10, but it was actually 15 to the end. One of us worked on that.
One of us worked on that.
Next time you have one of these ideas, I'm going to ask you, are we actually participating?
Are you complaining? You read books off your shelf, which is what you wanted to do. We both knew that if I told myself I had to read a book, it wasn't going to happen. It's just how my brain works. I can't help it. She's a finicky little bitch.
I think you should read all of the Ruby Dixon books that you've not read.
I have, except for like 2 or 3.
I know. I'm
They're in
challenging
the Aspect
you
and
to. Now you're
Anchor
not going
series.
to. I think you should read every book on your shelf and on your Kindle and that Amazon has.
Are you trying to get me to not read? What's the deal here?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyhow.
Yeah.
Okay. So I read this book.
Ooh, okay. Tell us about this book.
This is Touching Sin by Jay Simian. It is the first book in the Las Vegas Sin series. So we have Mia. Mia is running from her family. We get bits and pieces as the book goes along about what's going on, but we know she's pretty wealthy, but the cars would all have trackers in them. So she stole or took, I guess. Well, actually she stole, right? The gardener's car is like kind of an older model. And so she's just trying really hard to like get as far away from Texas as she can. She breaks down outside of Vegas. Jake happens by and gives her a ride. When he's in talking to his friend that runs the tow truck company, she bolts and is now in Vegas. She goes to a casino and is able to kind of seek shelter there by sneaking into like the pool area and sleeps on a lounge chair where she meets Maddox. And Maddox helps her kind of get her life together a little bit. Like he helps her get her job and stuff at the casino. So she now has this job at the casino, and Jake ends up being there, and he is the one who's going to be training her how to be a bartender. We have a lot of hidden identities going on. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. But this, I mean, she is a heroine on the run that is now homeless, and I loved it. I rated it 5 stars. It was so good.
Okay. All right. Well, the next book I listened to, and it was one that had been on my December TBR, And I put it on there because graphic audio was coming out. And so that was for Death by Laura Thalassa. This is the last book in the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I've read it, listened to it a billion times over, but I had to do it with the graphic audio. So this is about Lazarus and death, or eventually he gives her the name Thanatos. So Lazarus is our heroine. She can't die. That's why her name is Lazarus. It started as an infant. Like things have happened to her multiple times where she should be dead or she will die and then she comes back. And so she is at the market one day when the last horseman of the apocalypse comes, and that is death, and everybody starts dying around her, but she doesn't die. And he is intrigued by that. And the minute he sees her, he realizes that she is his. Like, all of his brothers who'd come before him were thwarted by women, right? They found their humanity. And he realizes that she is the one that is going to be his test, and he is not going to fail like his brothers. And so then we see a series of events where he kills her, she kills him, they have a little talk, then he kills her again, then she kills him, and it goes on for quite a while. These guys really have that hate to love, but he knows that she's the one he's supposed to, like, that's his test. Like, that is his person, his, the person that God made for him, to test him. But he knows that if he gives into that, then his mission is thwarted, and she wants to stop him. And so she keeps falling into his path. So the graphic audio was amazing. I do love when they do graphic audio for fantasy books like this. And just like I've said before, the kissing and the intimate scenes are a little funny with all of the noises in the background. Okay, like, I don't mind the horses clomping and the sounds of the market. It's the is really weird. It really is. That's okay. Still enjoyable. 5 stars for the audio. Use your credits for it. It's expensive.
Okay.
Okay.
So I then read the last book I had left on my till the end books,
Yes.
and that was Like Dragonflies. This is by Kay Webster and Danielle James. So this is about Sage. Sage is like shy, a little socially awkward, and her mom is a major socialite, always attending like ladies' brunches and running charity events and just all those social, things where the other people there are kind of snobby and not always very nice to Sage. And so Sage absolutely hates going to those. So her and her dad have really connected, but she just doesn't really connect with her mom. And she has a favorite coffee house that she goes to after college. She attends a college that's in their town, and after classes, she'll go and get a coffee there. And there is a new barista, and that is Mars. And Mars is just like 2 years older than her, I think. And he comes from what we would call like the wrong side of the tracks. And he lives with a really abusive dad, but he's just trying to save up his money so he can get out of there. And the two of them end up starting to date. And when the mom hears that she is dating this guy named Mars, she freaks out and forbids them from seeing each other. Sage thinks that it has to do with the fact that he's from this other town, which is like the wrong side of the tracks. But it's really because they're half siblings.
Okay.
But this is a Kay Webster book, so that's not going to stop anybody.
That's not going to stop anybody.
I usually really love these Taboo books by Kay, and this one just wasn't. I mean, I liked it. It just wasn't anything like as exciting. I think the problem is they barely knew each other when they find this out, and it seems like it would have been just fine for them to separate, but they don't, which is obviously the purpose of the book, but the connection for them to like not be a little grossed out by the fact that they're half siblings was a little weird to me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So I rated it 3 stars. I liked it. It just wasn't, it was a 3-star book. Okay. Thank you. Next.
Okay, so the next book I listened to, I'm sorry guys, it's the reread week. I do have books that I haven't reread in this video, but
are you sure?
I'm sure. On December 30th, out of the blue, we got audio for Domination by BJ Alpha. And so I had to listen to it. So for those who don't know about this book, because Mandy and I have talked about this book a few different times, this is a part of her Mafia Daddy series. I do suggest you read the whole series. I'll like start at the beginning and go through for enjoyment purposes, but you can read it as a standalone. So this is about Daddy Vinny. So Vinny is the Mafia Don. He is the father to these grown men who now have lives of their own. When he's having a Halloween party, and he sees this young girl. He knows she's young, and like he knows she's of age, but he knows she's young. And they end up having a one night stand. She is gone by the morning, and he just cannot stop thinking about her. And then a year and a half later, his stepson shows up at his mansion and is like, you know what? I have to get myself into rehab. This guy's a real loser. I have to get myself into rehab, but I need somebody to keep an eye on my daughter and my granddaughter. And so poor Vinny here is having a coronary at the thought, because he knows he's got this great granddaughter, but he didn't realize that he had a great granddaughter, or granddaughter and great granddaughter. That's what it is. So he's having a little bit of a coronary over that. And that's when Gracie walks in, and that is the girl that he had the one night stand with. So the audio was done by Lisa Lamb and Sean Masters. And when I tell you that the book was good, but the audio was like melt me in my seat good, like it was good. Sean did a superb job as Vinny. Lisa did an amazing job as well, but Sean was the perfect Vinny. And I was listening to it and getting all giddy, and it was just, I kept messaging BJ. I was like, this is freaking amazing. So definitely go listen to it. It's good.
I love that book.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
So next, I listened to Red Zone by Lisa Suzanne. This is coming out on January 8th, and it is narrated by Stephanie Kay and Liam DeCosmo. I wrote down how to pronounce his name. Okay, so this is book number 3 of the Bradley Legacy. So Everly is the Bradley in this one. And Maverick is a football player. He has a really, really bad boy reputation. And so Everly works for a company, and she gets sent to go do PR and like basically clean up his reputation. Her one thing is that she did not want to work with athletes, and here she is going. She has to give up all of her clients to go do this, but she is told by her boss that she has to, so she does. But she's not happy about it. And so she meets him. He's not a great guy. He's just like got a really bad reputation, and he doesn't really give a shit. And so they don't get along. He's not pleased about her being like up his ass and telling him what he has to do and all of that. And so they have to spend a lot of time together, and they end up living next door to each other, which they're not pleased about either. And they end up spending a lot of time together because of this. And she starts to realize that like his behaviors are really kind of masking like a lot of hurt, and she starts to see some of those layers pulled back. But what something big goes down, and he ends up in a situation where she has to choose between protecting her family or protecting him. I rated it 4 stars. I enjoyed it a lot.
Okay.
I will say I had some issues with him though, because he's a big boy and he made his own stupid choices. Yeah. But he does have those layers peeled back.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, well, the next book that I read, yes, it was a new read for me for the week. But
this is shocking.
I know, but I feel like I've talked about it a ton of times already, because it was in my monthly wrap up, and it was in our top 25 of the year. So I have talked about it a couple of times, but we're gonna talk about it again. And that is The Way Back to Us by Samantha Christie. This just came out this past week, so it is her latest release. I love Samantha Christie's work. This is about Ava and Trevor. They have been together since they were 13 years old. They had their first kiss under this tree. They lost their virginity to each other. They have only ever been with each other. Now they're in their mid-30s. Trevor is a surgeon, and in order to pay for college, he joined the military. And so he has been serving overseas for quite a long time. He's only come back every once in a while. So it's been several years that he's been overseas. And Ava has been holding down the fort at home, running the family's coffee shop that his parents signed over to them when they were married, and trying to get pregnant. So they've been struggling with infertility. And so they used all their savings for one round of IVF that didn't work. Well, Trevor's got 24 more days before he comes home. And that is when the two guys from the military walk into the coffee shop to tell Ava that he actually has been killed overseas. And she goes, she loses it. She goes through the motions of having the funeral. At the funeral, we find out that she is pregnant. She took a lien against the coffee shop to get the money to try IVF a couple more times. And the last time finally took. And so she is in the process of grieving and burying her husband, when about 2 weeks later, they show back up and tell her, nope, there was a mistaken identity situation. Your husband is alive. Oh, but he's in a hospital in Germany. He has amnesia. He has no clue who anybody is. Like, he doesn't know his own name. He doesn't know you. And he remembers absolutely nothing of his past. And so she got her husband back, but did she really get her husband back? Because he doesn't know her or his parents or the baby she's pregnant with. So so good. 5 stars. It was on my top of the year.
I just read it
yet? Okay.
So
I was
I'll
like,
be
have you
talking
finished it
about
yet? Yeah.
next week.
Okay.
I will say I was reading it and I was really enjoying it. And then there's a part where it's not, I wouldn't call it mundane, but it's like things are just kind of happening. And I was like, this is really weird that this is like a 5-star for Jessica. I'm like, this is a solid 4-star for me right now.
Mhm.
And then there's a twist. And I was like, holy shit.
Yes, that is where it hit the 5-star for me.
Yes.
I will say that there is an extended epilogue that you can get when you join her email list, right? Her newsletter. I'm already on her newsletter, and I refuse to read the extended epilogue because I know what happens in it, and I refuse to put myself through that. So, just saying. If you want a mountain of hurt, you read the extended epilogue.
Okay.
Okay. All right. What you got next?
Okay. So next, I read book number 4 in Ice Planet Barbarians.
It's one of my favorites. Okay.
This
nice.
is Barbarian Mine. And this, yes, I can see why this is your favorite. This is what my notes say. He literally clubs her over the head and drags her back to his cave. And then eventually you feel bad for this lonely alien.
Plus, he can't communicate with her.
Yes. So this is, I was like, this is Aliens and Captor Captive, where he literally clubs her over the head and drags her back to his cave. This has to be like Jessica's favorite book of all time in the Ice Planet world. So I really have like nothing else to really say to that. I mean,
yeah,
that's pretty much.
I think there's a little more to it. She has a brain tumor. She's worried it's going to come back. I mean, that plays a part in it, but
that does. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So, and he's
feral. For the purpose of keeping this in 1 minute, he clubs her over the head and drags her back. But then we find out that he's just really lonely, and we feel bad for him.
He's not with the rest of the tribe, so
no,
he's got some hangups. Okay,
it was
cool.
sad.
It's sad. What did you give it?
4 stars.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, the next book I went into is one that the authors had been recommended to me by my influencer team. And I saw that this book was free on the day, like on Christmas Day or something. And so I grabbed it and then I listened to the audio for it. And that is White Rose Painted Red by Blake and Elena Lawson. And so this is a wide choose. It started out really strong. Our heroine is on the run. She and her dog are like, there has been a situation with her boyfriend. She's been abused by him. She's been beaten up, and she just takes off in the car. And when the book starts out, she's on. There was a guy in the road. As she's on this deserted road, she accidentally hits him. Oops. And he's still hot, and he still takes her back to his house with his buddies. And so that is Elijah, Atticus, and Seven. I can't remember if she ran into Elijah or Seven. I think it was Seven. But she, she runs into them. Well, we find out very early on that they are doing something illegal. They're doing some shady things. They own a very big house in the middle of the nowhere. They have all of this tech. They have all of these crazy things. They're going to use her for a specific purpose. We don't find out for a while what that purpose is. And in the meantime, they ask her to come to the house to keep it clean, which Atticus is the guy who's in charge of these three guys, and he's like a neat freak. So they're like, what is Atticus doing asking her to come stay here? Like, but immediately there's some banging that starts happening, and it goes a little crazy. Like, they had me up until the part where the banging started, right after a guy kills her boyfriend. Seven kills her boyfriend, takes her to the house and bangs her. There's been no buildup at all. So I did give it a 4. I did enjoy listening to it. I think it's a very soft 4. If I'd been physically reading it, I probably would have DNF'd it. And it's a duet. So there is a second book, but I don't feel the need to continue on. Because it just didn't grab me like that. So maybe more of 3.5. Like, it wasn't a bad story. I just don't care. I just didn't care. Maybe I wasn't in the read for white shoes. Maybe I'll try another one of their books or something. But still, it just wasn't for me, you know? Had potential. The storytelling wasn't bad, though. It was just didn't care. Okay?
Okay.
Next.
Okay, so next, I read a book. I'm just going to tell you.
Yeah?
I read a book because I read another Ice Planet Barbarian book because when we were discussing which books I should put on my Amazon wish list for Christmas ideas for my husband, because I really wanted some books for Christmas, I swear that you told me that there was one with Amnesia, and I thought that was the one that you told me to get. So I read these 2 books, and no one had Amnesia, and I was disappointed.
Yeah.
Because this was before I knew about The Way Back to Us, and so I was like, I really want an Amnesia book. So I went and searched.
There is an Amnesia one.
Yes, but it wasn't the one that you told me, and I thought that you had told me to get one of the Amnesia ones, but you didn't. So I was disappointed. So I went and searched, and I read the next one. Oh no! I thought that my Sprocket was fixed, but it cut this one off.
Did you read the next one in the series or the Amnesia one?
No, I skipped to the Amnesia one. So I read Barbarian's Heart by Ruby Dixon. This is number 9 in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. Got to get my timer going again. So this is about Stacy and I don't know how to say these aliens' names.
Pashov. Yep.
Okay, so Stacy and Pashov have been together since the humans landed on Nothoth.
Yep.
Am I saying that right? Okay, this is a hard one. Like, if you've not read the series, I feel like I need a guide. But anyways, so I think it's been about 2 years, and Pashov there's an earthquake, and he gets. It's not funny. Why am I laughing? He gets hurt in the cave and they think he's gonna die, but he ends up pulling through. But when he wakes up, he has amnesia and he doesn't remember Stacy or their kid. And now they all have to leave and go find new caves to live in because of the quake. And so he like has to pull her on the sled with the baby. And she's really hung up on him not remembering her, and there's a lot of feelings to work through.
Okay.
I rated it 4 stars.
I'm surprised because you missed out. Like, we see the earthquake in a book before. Like, there's a chunk.
Really?
So the fact that the fact that you were able, because somebody dies in the earthquake, like, it's a big deal. So the fact that you were able to pick it up and go, like, have that gap, I'm impressed.
Oh, well, maybe I'll go back and fill it in.
Yeah, maybe you should. Because there's some good ones in between. I'm going to talk about one here in a minute. I was a little jelly that you were reading Ice Planet Barbarians without me this week. So, Okay, well, the next book I have is one that I waited for Christmas for. I read it a few days after Christmas, obviously, but it was still Christmas, and I was really excited for this, and I've had it on my shelf for quite a while, and that is A Tree Point Christmas by Jamie Bagley. Nothing says Christmas like a motorcycle club that likes to have sex. That's not what this is, though. So this is a novella. This takes place in the Last Writer's world. If you've read Jamie Bagley's Last Writer's world, this is just a little extra. If you have read this world, then you've met Megan, who is our heroine. She was a part of Winter's story. She's the one who did some things pretty horribly at the end of Winter's story. We find out that Megan, her baby was born stillborn, and her husband at the time was a real dick, and there were some things that happened with her. And because of these things that happened, the Last Writers have wanted revenge. They've wanted to come after her, but they've decided for whatever reason they're not going to. Megan has been in a treatment facility because of the things that she's done and the breakdown that she had after losing her baby, and now she is back in Tree Point to kind of square things away. She's been on the run, from the Last Writers for a while, and at this point she just doesn't care. She's like, if they're going to come for me, let's just get it over and done with. Like, she was tired of doing that, and so she has come back home. And that is where she meets Cole. He is in town with friends visiting the Last Writers, and he has connections to Greer, who's a part of the other spinoff of this. And this is their Christmas story. I gave it 3.5 stars. It's a novella. It was a nice time back in the town, but ultimately I wasn't that attached to the characters. It was nice to see her like get a redemption story, but I just really wasn't that attached to it. So I still enjoyed it. It just, I won't do a reread of it. Let's put it that way. I'll still keep the book on my shelf, though, with all of my other Last Writer books. Oh, I want to do a reread of that now. Dang it. See, this is what happens.
I think you should do a challenge where you don't reread for like an entire month.
I don't want to. Do not shame me for liking to reread. Just because you don't.
How am I shaming you?
You make me feel ashamed that I like to reread.
How?
I don't know. Just don't do it. You make me feel insecure about it.
I was challenging you not to reread.
I don't want to challenge. I want to do my rereads. Do you want me to have a reading slump? Is that what you're trying to do?
No.
Okay. All right. Anyhow, hey, rereads are necessary for my business too. I have like 4 I have to do this month. Can't do it this month.
Okay, so my book number 10 was The Silent Flames, which you already talked about.
Okay. Do you want to talk about your 11, or do you want me to just go into my next one?
Did I say what I rated it?
Well, we both said we had them on our lists, and they were 5.
True. So yeah, it was a 5.
And
so now I need to switch to my other journal.
Okay, well, I'm just gonna do this while I'm on camera because this one's really quick.
Okay.
But the next book that I read was the Bind Up of 4, and it's the Ice Planet Honeymoons. And since you've read all 4, you could actually read these. So they're all bound up. I have them individually on my Kindle. But these are cute little novellas that take place after books 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's of the couples when they go on a honeymoon, because Georgie and Vectal go on a honeymoon, and then everybody else decides, well, damn it, I want a honeymoon too. And so they all take honeymoons, and things happen on the honeymoons. But, there you go. Okay. It's a fun way to add to your TBR at the beginning of the year. Get ahead of that reading goal.
All right.
Okay.
I should have talked about Silent Flames because you have way more books than me.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, well. Okay, so book number 1 for me in 2026, which is actually book number 11 for this wrap up in the new journal.
Mm-hmm.
Love it. Is Only for Love by Natasha Madison. I got this as an ALC. It comes out on January 9th, and it is narrated by Teddy Hamilton and Stephanie Rose. I was listening to it before I knew who the narrators were. I just wanted to dive right into it, and I'm like, this sounds like Stephanie, and it was. So we have Lexi, who is in a very, very toxic marriage. And what I really appreciated about this book is we don't just get told that she was in a bad marriage. We actually see a lot of it at the beginning of the book, which just, I think for me, really helped me understand Lexi a lot more, and then how Kirby kind of plays a role into this situation. So her husband is a high doctor at this hospital, and he is just completely controlling of her, belittles her, isolates her, and is always like, you can't wear that because what would people say about that? Like, just, he's just a horrible ass. And she's putting on a fundraising event at the hospital, and Kirby, who is a hockey player, is going to be one of the bachelors, and so she has to talk to him. They do these interviews, so they have ideas of like how to promote and all of that stuff, and so she's talked to him quite a few times, and he is very nice to her. And at the event, her husband is Kirby and her husband are kind of talking, and he is saying some pretty nasty, derogatory things about her. And she overhears Kirby defending her, which kind of sets in motion of her finally leaving him. And then we fast forward a little bit to where she has left him, and they run into each other. And then there's like some dares and all this different stuff that leads to so much more. I really, really enjoyed this a lot. I rated it 5 stars. It was a great first book for the new year.
Okay. Is that your last book?
No, I have one more. I have
Okay.
12.
Okay.
And you had 20.
No, I didn't have 20.
You
So
overachieving reader.
that's me. So the next book I have, I'm actually not going to talk about because I did a reread of Sweet Temptation by Cora Riley, and we've talked about it a billion times. I don't feel the need to talk about it. If you guys want it, it's in our.
Is it your most reread book?
No.
Which book have you reread the most?
Probably The Golden Dynasty. Because I do that like quarterly.
True.
I just don't always talk about it. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to talk about my last book, which is the one I mentioned that Mandy hadn't got to yet in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, and I was really. I needed something like this week. So this is Barbarian's Touch. This is actually number 7 in the Ice Planet Barbarians. This is Lila and Rokan's story. So at the end of the book 6, we see that there are some other girls that are found in a spaceship, and that is Lila and her sister. So Lila wakes up on this planet to all these, there's a human or two there, and there's a few aliens, and she's like, doesn't know what's happening because obviously she's waking up, but she can't hear anything. So on Earth, she had a cochlea implant because she's deaf, but it's missing now that she's waking up. So she is waking up in a strange world. She's cold and she can't hear anything. And she, there's all these big blue guys who've resonated to these other women, but then there's a whole bunch that didn't get mates, right? There's only so many women, and then there's so many guys in the tribe. And so she's, getting side-eyed by all these blue guys. Well, one of them ends up taking her, Haydn, and he's going to try and force residence. Well, Rokan is the one who has the knowing sense. Like, he can sense when, there's a bad storm coming or something odd is happening. And he knows that Lila is his mate. Without the residence, he knows that. So he goes looking for her. And when he finds her, that is when they resonate. But I like it a lot because she teaches him sign language. She teaches the computer sign language. Like, she's just, I like their relationship. She can't hear, so she doesn't fully understand what's happening for quite a while. Because poor Haydn, he don't even try. So, there you go. That's my week. Finish your last book.
Okay. I forgot when you said that you had like the 4 that they were ones, so never mind about me talking about.
Okay, so that was it.
Okay, so number 12 for me. Oh, this is a hard one for me because I love this author so much.
Yeah.
And I did not care for this book, and I it's a 3. So I liked it, but there were just times where I got bored and I just kind of checked out on caring about the characters, which gave me immense amount of guilt. So this is Hard Feelings by Jennifer Milliken, however you say her last name. The audiobook is coming out on January 8th, as well as the book, and it is narrated by Wesley Mercer and Vanessa Clay. They both do a great job with the audio, so the audio is not the problem. It was just the storyline. Cicely and Dom end up meeting. They know each other through like work stuff, but they've never actually met in person. And so they go on this kind of blind date, not blind date situation. And Dom gets up to take a phone call, and Cicely needs to ask him a question because the waiter's asking for something. And so she goes to ask him, she overhears something, and it starts off a miscommunication. Then we fast forward to them getting drunk in Vegas together when they run into each other again for something else, and they get married. But I love that trope and I love Jennifer, so I thought that this book would be like a home run for me, and I just got bored with it. They end up, or the grandma is dying, and so they end up going on this road trip as grandma's last wish in this RV, and she doesn't get along with her parents, and it just, I don't know. I got bored a lot in it, and I normally love like the waking up married in Vegas trope.
Mhm.
I think the miscommunication just started off like feeling like too much of a cliche for me, and that kind of was a hang up that I just never really got over.
Yeah. Okay.
But because I love Jennifer so much, like where are her books? Um What We Keep is like a wonderful, wonderful book. Penn and Hugo from Olive Township were fantastic. Like, oh,
See, this is the difference between us. I don't feel guilty when I don't like a book. It is okay to not like a book, even when you like the author. Like, that is okay. Just let it go. You're not hurting her. You don't like the book.
it was a 3. It wasn't
Well,
like a 1 or a 2,
yeah, it wasn't one or
but
two, but it still wasn't like an amazing read
no.
like the other ones were. And that's okay.
I
It
was
didn't resonate with you.
expecting it was going to easily be a 4-star, if not a 5. And
Mhm.
so
Yeah. Okay.
maybe I set my expectations too high.
Maybe. Maybe. So.
And I know you always tell me not to feel guilty. Like, not every book is going to work for every person, but I can't help it.
Okay. I mean,
On that
that is
happy
a
note,
testament to your loyalty to those you like.
that is true. See, it's a positive somewhere in there, right?
Somewhere in there. Yes. Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. Well, if you've not hit that subscribe button, we would love for you to do that. We have lots of fun giveaways coming up, and we should be announcing that really soon, right?
Yeah, we've gotten the confirmation from the author. We just need to nail some things down.
Yeah, so hopefully next week we will, or maybe even the end of this week, we'll have some more information on that. So definitely stay tuned. We're going to be doing our first giveaway for the 26 books of 2026, and
Mhm.
we have some really great ones planned that we have things confirmed, and they just are going to be unrolling. So
Yeah.
we are starting the new year off with a bang. So you're definitely going to want to be a subscriber and around for all of the fun stuff, besides all of our wonderful book recs and these exciting journals.
Yeah. Yep.
No, seriously, like I love this journal so
I know.
much.
I love it. I keep looking at mine. It's pretty. So I'm
Yes,
liking
it
these ones.
is. We talked
And
about doing new covers for like each year. And I'm like, I don't know. This one's really good. Like, do we have to do a new cover?
I mean, the idea behind doing a new cover is always amazing, but the amount of work it takes to get Amazon
Yeah.
to accept what we upload is such a pain in the butt. It is hours and hours of work just to get one cover in there and them to be like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool, we like this. So, yeah, pain in the butt, but it's okay. I
So,
will know the difference between last year and this year now because it's a different color.
yes, that's
Yeah.
the one thing that's nice for us though.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and sometimes Wednesdays, but almost, I think all the Wednesdays in January and February for sure have videos. So
Yeah.
make sure you check back for new videos from us.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.